much fun to be gone forever. It's got to come back, some 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 back, some back, some back, some back, some back.
Happy,
carefree,
and you were born this way. All right, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Even ching. How are you all doing this
How are
evening?
you? And how are you?
And you,
and you, and you, and you.
What's going on? Welcome. This is,
We are back.
We're back. This is episode number 40 of the...
40.
Right. 40.
Mm-hmm.
40.
0.
Of the BGKO show.
Ooh, it's a little ashy.
40. Well, listen, that's what 40 brings. 40 brings a little bit of ash.
Is it really ashy, or is it just a
It's
picture
a little bit of
the
ash.
camera?
Actually, I don't see any ash. Wait a minute.
Is it?
Yeah, I see a little ash. But it's a light ash. It's a light dusting.
Ash.
It's like
listen, it's 10 degrees below zero outside.
Well, that also shows you've at least put lotion on sometime this week. Because some people just don't.
Right.
But you look at them, you're like, does your skin even know what lotion is?
Right.
Like
just sucked all of the moisture.
It just don't even do nothing. But so anyway, welcome to episode number 40 of the BGK8 show, which, if you all didn't know, is for the B is for actually the blacks.
The blacks.
Because it's Wakanda forever. For the gays, Miss Maryland.
Come on, Maryland. Is he a skull? All right.
One side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The kinky. Well, we can actually stay with this too, because there's lots of holes here that you can do lots of different things with.
You are.
I'm just saying.
I'm about to distance myself from you just for 5 seconds for that.
What type of man do you think I am?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Watch it. And the H is for the humans. That'll be the rest of you all.
So who are you?
My name is Epic, and who are you?
Dominion. Yes.
Right.
Got to get it together sometimes, And we are coming to you exclusively on Vox Power 373. And listen, we will keep, as they say in the Air Force, we will keep foot stomping this. You can call in 240-719-2560.
Please call in 240-719-2560. So call in. Now, give us about 5 or 10 minutes to get through this intro, but you can call in at any time. As a matter of fact, even if you do call in, then guess what? We will happily take your call. So just Listen, the lights on the phones are not even lit up, so just call on in. This is like a telethon. I always want to do a telethon, like a save the lighthouse telethon.
Save not save the children, save the children.
Save the children. The childrens.
Say the cheering.
The childrens.
So how was your week?
My week was actually really good. It was interesting, but it was really good. Got some stuff accomplished. Preparing to do some stuff next week.
Yes.
Because I'll be taking a trip for work, and more importantly, got some stuff situated with my mom. So I was really, really happy with that. And she came down for Thanksgiving, came over to the house. Thank you so much. It was a very, very lovely dinner. My greens were good, let's be clear. But I was full as shit.
Yeah, that was a lot of food.
I was stuffed. Like, even before we got there, and I was like...
And I was stuffed after, during that meal. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, like, you get that miserable feeling like, I don't want to eat anything. And then you're like, well, maybe I should. Then I was mad because I didn't take any damn filet mignon. Like, I was mad about that. Like, I was really kind of pissed off about that.
There's none left.
I ate like a one piece there. See, that's how they do. That's how folks do you. See, that's how the blacks do you. That's how the blacks do you. But anyway, it was an interesting week. It was restful, but then it was not restful. So I'm going to go ahead and say this as if I haven't mentioned it before. So my mom has Alzheimer's, and so I laugh at some of the stuff that happens because it keeps me from getting so upset. But this is actually comedy. If you've ever been to where I live, when you walk into the front door, you can pretty much see up the steps and you can see the upstairs level. So at that particular point, if you go to the right, that's my room. You go to the left, that's my roommate's room. But so when the lights come on, you can see straight down to the door. So there's an alarm on, and apparently my mother, after X number of hours, she just wants to go home. She's like, I've had enough. I want to go home. I just want to get myself together. I want to get home. This could be at 9 o'clock. This could be at 10 o'clock. This could be at 2:30 in the morning. And these particular 3 days, it was 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, and 5:30 in the morning that my mother wanted to go home. So all I keep hearing is the beep, beep, beep from the alarm when you open the door. Now, the first time I didn't hear it. Ed actually came out of the room and actually caught her at the door, and she was like, hand on the door with her suitcase fully packed, and looked back, and he was like, he's like, Mama Epic. I was like,
It's funny now.
It is
but
funny
if she
now.
had disappeared into the night, it would not have been funny.
Which has happened before, and so that was a whole other thing. So we had to
and
do
she isn't even. I mean, at least before she was in the area at home. I mean, she's
she's done both. She's done both here and then also at home. So it was kind of weird, but we had to set the alarm, and then the alarm went off, and then I laughed because the alarm goes off, and the alarm is ringing, beep 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 beep. I go downstairs, I'm looking for my mother. And then I guess she's like a kid. She got back on the couch and played like she was asleep.
She's like, what? What's going on? What's happening? I have no idea how that alarm started going off.
And I'm sitting there looking at her like, oh, God. I was like, I don't even have any children, but Lord, if this is what it's like to have kids, God bless their spirit. All those that are parents, and I'm sure my mother, I did some crap to her that made her just regret.
This is payback.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it was actually a really good time. Had spent a lot of time with her and did some stuff, so it was just good. But a good weekend. Spent time with Ed's family. Ed's family was really great. Laughed and joked. His mom and his aunts came down and baked this turkey, and they kept digging in the turkey from side to side, and from time to time they just kept digging in the turkey. And I'm standing there like, we haven't even eaten yet. I was like, what are y'all doing? They just trying to. Next thing I know, she's like, oh, this is so good. And I was like, y'all are just taking pieces of the turkey. She was like, here, put this in your mouth. I was like, yeah.
This is delicious.
So we all standing at the damn turkey, just peeling pieces off a turkey. So listen, I had a great time. Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time to Ed's family and everybody that came through. I appreciate all love, and I'm glad y'all had fun. And thank you for inviting me into the home. And then by the time I got to your house again, which is a tradition, because I enjoy going to Dominion's house because it's always a carefree, say what you want, do what you want, be what you want experience, and with good food and good family. So it was a good time. So yeah. But that was good for me. That was my week. Did some other stuff at work. But that was about it. Nothing spectacular. What about you? How was your week?
It was good. So, I had already decided that I wasn't going to spend, days prepping turkey or protein. So got all of the meats and stuff from Texas de Brazil. So, that worked out beautifully. And everybody made sides. You talk about your mother like she's a terror. Let me tell you, Mama Epic showed up to the house. It was like, so yes, she does have Alzheimer's, so you just have to accept. She was like, "Hey, how you been?" And I was like, "We just met." But she was like, "Yeah." Or she did. She said it to my sister, and she definitely just met my sister, definitely. And she was like, "Yeah, we saw you the last time." And my sister was like, "No," and I was like, Just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. And
Shout out to Kendra, because she was like, yes.
Yes. Yes. It is so good to see you again. And, I was like, listen, I know that sometimes people with Alzheimer's, the wrong thing might set them off. So while your mother was drinking her juice and talking to Sydney,
Shout out to Sydney.
I got the other ones together. I was like, listen. As long as Epic's mama is here, we ain't gonna have no talk about dick, because like you say, it's a carefree atmosphere. So we talk about glory holes, sex, dicks, asses, vaginas,
everything.
This is just dinner conversation, because this is what we normally do.
Right.
Someone might pull out a video or pull out a sex video or anything else. Like, as long as his mother is here, you will treat it like you were talking in front of your own mama. And to certain people, I was like, talk to her like you was talking to somebody else's mama, because we know how some of y'all talk in front of your mama. So. But she was perfectly lovely. Now, apparently, she was talking all kinds of shit to Sydney.
And listen,
that I didn't hear, because I'm sitting at the other end of the table. And you were right, because at first she was just like very quiet and everything. But all she had to drink was, she had some tea and some orange juice. But you would have thought she had some Henny, because the way, after about 20 minutes, the way she was cutting up and carrying on, she was like, that is some bullshit. And I was just like, okay.
listen.
But it was fine. It wasn't a problem at all. I was just like, she has gotten loose.
Listen, my mother, and I've said it before, my mother was like the original Grace. She was like fag hag central. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just what she was. She hung with my Uncle Eddie all the time. So it was to a point where my Uncle Eddie was like, okay, girl, it's time for you to go home now. I need you to go home. Like, that's how she was. But then, as I explained before, she performs when putting in front of a crowd. So it's like, oh my God, hey! Like, she performs.
Yes.
And that is completely different than when we get home and it's downtime and it's like, I want to go home. Oh, girl. If you tell me you want to go home, I'm
right. And of course, everybody's mother or father is perfectly charming when you only got to spend like an hour with him. Like, people be like, your father is so nice. And I was like, that's because you just get to come and go. You don't get to see all of the foolishness.
You get to see
this
between this point and this point. These two finite points you get to see in between.
Right, because like you say, they're performing, but they don't have to perform with you. They can be their normal, crotchety old selves all the time. And then you look like the awful person.
I was like, okay, whatever. But true to form, by the time we got to, because we made another stop, by the time we got to the next stop, we had stopped by 007 and Grace's house. By the time we got there, we were sitting there, and probably an hour in, she stood up. She's like, well, you all have a good night. I'm going home. I said, girl, where are you going? She's like, I'm going home. And how are you getting there? Well, I don't know. I'm going to walk. Girl, sit down. Please sit down, Mom. Just sit down. So it was like, I already knew it was about to start, and I was like, we're going to go down that road. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, let me get my shit together.
She basically stood up and said, ladies and gentlemen, I know you came for dinner, but you did not know you were coming for a show.
And yeah, I was just sitting there. And so all of us were sitting at the table when she stood up. They were like, what? And I was like, okay, all right, Mom.
All right. So
I was like, okay, Mom.
Time. It looked like Suge Avery's husband. Time to go.
Yeah, it was like I just started packing up. So I was like, okay, let's go. Let's get your coat. Let's get. But you know, it was. But it was a very, very lovely weekend, a very, very lovely evening, and so I appreciate everybody for making making it a very, very easy thing to do. So,
Yes. And, the rest of the weekend was good. So every year I fall in love with a little piece of something that I have to have. Talk about technology.
I wasn't even going down that.
Yeah,
But
you were.
No.
Yeah, you were.
I
You
wasn't.
saw it. You saw it.
No,
on
I
the
was trying to
screen.
figure out what piece of food was this.
No. So, Wednesday night, I was in Bed Bath & Beyond. And they had, because I wanted a toaster oven. I know, it's such an exciting life. My life is mundanity on top of mundanity, punctuated by raucous debauchery. So it really is.
It can't be. Lord have mercy. How about it's the opposite way?
No, it is. Most of my life is very boring, and so it is. Like I'm getting excited about buying a fucking toaster oven, and so then I saw this toaster oven with an air fryer built in. So I was like,
that sounds hot.
Yes, I must have this because I had a toaster, but it was a little 2-slice toaster.
Right.
And I have an air fryer, which I was not necessarily planning to get rid of. But now by having this all in one, I can get rid of two things. Yeah. And it just sits there on the counter all beautifully and everything.
Okay.
So anyway, I didn't know that they would go on sale, but they went on sale on Friday. So I said I was going to go to the movies to see, what the hell did I go see?
Was it Widows?
No, I went to see Fantastic Beasts.
Did you like it? Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
It wasn't terrible. It was just a lot going on. And since I haven't seen all of the Harry Potter movies, now that I've read reviews afterwards and a lot of stuff that happened, it was like, oh, so, the snake from Harry Potter used to be a woman.
Oh, okay. Because I've seen the Harry Potters, but I don't.
Right. So, the huge snake.
Okay.
Well, she used to be a woman that turned into a snake, but like they said in the Fantastic Beasts, eventually she's going to turn into a snake one time and not be able to turn back. So that was what happened. So there's a lot of in-universe mythology that if you didn't see all of the other movies, you wouldn't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought this was before.
It is.
Okay.
So this is all characters and people like
building
Dumbledore
up to
is in the movie.
Okay.
I think one of those characters is going to not turn out to be Voldemort, but Voldemort's father or grandfather or something like that.
Gotcha.
So toaster ovens are the luxury of college kids.
And when ovens go out.
It does. It saves you time from heating up. It has got the air fryer built in. So anyway, I said I'm going to go to Arundel Mills. And just as I was driving there, I was like, how bad can it be?
On the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday?
Arundel Mills is a huge mall and a casino and a movie theater. When I tell you traffic was wrapped on top of wrapped on top of wrapped. So I parked across the street.
At the other stores, like at the...
Well, at the Golden Corral and walked across. I didn't go in.
I'm just saying, but Golden Corral, come on now. Yes.
I don't do buffets.
I do.
Except for brunch.
I fucks with the Golden
Only do buffets if there's all you can drink champagne.
I fucks with the Golden. Right. I fucks with the Golden Corral. And the Great American Steakhouse too. Yes.
Oh, listen. I will put on a disguise and go into Golden Corral, but I will not be caught dead in a Great American Steak and potato. Is it
Great American
potato
buffet?
like
Great American steak buffet or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
But
I would not be caught dead there. Anyway, so I parked at the Golden Corral, walked across the street, went into the Bed Bath & Beyond there. Found out that they were on sale because they were $79 on Wednesday, had been marked down to $59, but they didn't have any. So
they gave you a rain check.
No, just went to another Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'll take a rain check because I'll get this shit later.
Yeah, I just went and got another one. And so now I have my lovely, and it works beautifully because let me tell you why. Again, mundanity. So everyone likes butter on their toast, but butter is usually hard if you leave it out. So with the toaster oven, now I can put the butter on the toast and let it get soft, and then the butter melts off beautifully, and then I have my butter soaked into the toast. I'm telling you, I live a boring existence. This was exciting to me, and so I had my toast. Oh, you know what else I'm gonna do? Joey, I still got some of Joey's pound cake. So I'm about to put a piece of pound cake in the toaster oven and let it get toasty on the top.
There is some pound cake left? There is some pound cake
There's no
left.
pound cake left.
Listen.
There's no pound cake left for anybody that don't pay a rent or mortgage there.
Let me call Trayvon.
Trayvon know better. Unless he want to find all this shit on the street.
Hey, boo. Pinch me off a piece of that cake there, boo.
And it ain't no German chocolate. It's actually more German chocolate cake, but
I didn't get any German chocolate cake.
You can. There's like a big chunk of that left.
But you already claimed 1/3 of the damn, like 2/3 of the cake.
But there's still plenty of. Is what I'm saying is there's plenty of German chocolate cake left because we got that. We got, and there's still all the bread pudding because I made.
Did you taste the what's the name?
Oh, the trifle. I don't like sweet potatoes.
Oh, you don't. Oh,
no.
Okay.
Plus, everyone else said it was lovely. So he made a sweet potato pie with marshmallow, and I hate marshmallows too.
It was a casserole, but all I had was a pie dish, so it was
fine.
So, yeah.
But I don't like sweet potatoes, and I hate marshmallows, so I was out. But we had a half sheet German chocolate cake.
I left marshmallows at home.
Joey made a sour cream pound cake that was life changing.
Yeah, it was a very hearty cake, and I was like,
Joseph Lee Jr.
Yeah, you did that.
You did that.
You did that.
You did all of that.
You did that. Mm-hmm.
And I made a bread pudding.
Yes. Oh my God. So that bread pudding. Okay, so listen, the bread pudding. Now I did taste the damn bread pudding. The motherfucker. Listen. You got me right curse on this. Is there bread pudding left?
There is bread pudding left. I can spare a.
I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. But this bread pudding, listen, first of all, it was pretty to look at. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, she was good. Like, it was really, really good. Listen. This was probably, and I'm not even a big bread pudding fan. Mm-hmm. And then I think the thing with bread pudding is people do it in so many different ways where they put the sauce on it. Sometimes they don't. And then there's milk, and then it's warm, and they pour stuff over. Listen, this bread pudding was perfect the way it was. It had a little bit of tart in it, a little sweet. It was really good. So I'm gonna come about.
Let me tell you how simple the ingredients was.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. Can you make another one?
I'm telling them.
Okay. Well, are you gonna make another one?
Maybe.
So just
possibly.
I want half of it.
2 dozen.
Or can you make my own?
Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Christmas is coming. So
I got that. Okay, yes, I understood.
Did you make it now? Okay.
No, I'm not. I'll make it at some point.
But they're gonna make me one.
Possibly. So, eggnog, apples and cranberries, brown sugar, apple pie spice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was it. So you just a layer of the bread cubes. Then the apple and brown sugar mixture. Then that was a secret why it stayed so moist. Is that there was a layer of cream cheese, sweetened cream cheese. So I whipped up some cream cheese with some of the apple and cranberry caramel. Spread that all out. Oh no. The bread pudding, the eggnog and egg mixture, then the apples, then the cream cheese. Then more apples, bread, and the rest of the milk. So it was wet. So that was what I've learned. Yeah. Before I used to like pulverize the bread, so it was almost like breadcrumbs. This time the bread was in chunks, which worked a lot better. So yeah, so it was really. It is good.
Really, really good. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You don't even need ice cream for it or anything because it's had the cream cheese in it.
But you do.
Yeah, I mean it was fine.
But you do. But you did.
And shout out to my son who works at Jenny's and bought
that vanilla
tons of ice cream.
It was a vanilla one.
The vanilla
something that was It was really good.
Yeah.
So
there is ice cream left too.
Okay. So
anyway, so let's get to the shows.
Listen, we didn't get to talk about this last week because we had it was a Thanksgiving break and we had a lot going on. At least I did anyway. But American Horror Story
was garbage.
The finale that came on.
Not garbage, garbage.
It had there were a lot of things that I was expecting from the show and for this season. Mm-hmm. And one of the things was bringing back Angela Bassett or Marie Laveau, and as well as this particular show being like leaving me like just twisted, like what? Like how did that happen? What? I was not twisted. I was a little bit upset that they brought Angela Bassett back for the last episode of the damn show of the damn season, and it was only for like 7 minutes. It was more like 4 minutes, and then like she made this great intro with this hot little black pantsuit on.
Yeah, it was cute.
It was hot. It was cute for her, and she looked good. But then she chopped away at old girl, and then all of a sudden, then her ass is dead. I was like, well, what?
Right.
I was kind of mad.
I was kind of mad.
Highlight though for me, Mallory, when she got into that damn SUV and when she hit that, when she ran over his ass and hit him with the car.
There's so many things that didn't make sense to me. First of all, do you like my shirt?
It's cute.
Purple is for royalty, dear, not middle management.
Queens.
That was what your girl Myrtle said.
Queens, I get it.
I was she was like, and she said, and how are you going to get through? She said like this.
Myrtle Snow. Listen, when Cordelia gave her props and said, first of all, her being like immortalized in that iconic picture of Myrtle was everything. Mm-hmm. She was all like,
right.
She was like, taught me everything I know. I was like, yes. Myrtle Snow. But Myrtle Snow's entrance and her exit and what she did was everything. She was so like, oh, and tell me how to do this. Tell me how to do that. Okay, great. That's it. Done. Boom, boom, boom. Like I love Myrtle. And I wish they would have done a little bit more with her backstory, although they gave a little bit of it, but I wish they would have gave a little bit more of her backstory because they did. In Coven, I remember them touching on it, but I would just love to have seen more of Myrtle. But who knows? She's such a fan favorite. Maybe Brad and Ryan will bring her back in some other way, shape, or form. At least, but she got to have some good lines because she always has some good lines.
Right. So the car thing that didn't make any sense to me because this dude, even though he may not have come into his full powers as the Antichrist, clearly this dude was evil and wicked and had some powers. And I felt like it should have taken more to take him out than just running over him a couple of times with an SUV. I mean, yes, he did run over him 3 times, but I felt like he should have died in him. I just didn't feel like that was a very dramatic way of him dying. I just felt like that was meh. And then the whole thing, I said it before, it's the payoff was unearned. And so I'm going to contrast this with Avengers. So we knew from the beginning that one of those stones was the time stone. So one of the whole reasons that they were doing this whole thing is that you don't want him to get this time stone because then he can turn back. Whatever you do, he can undo because he can turn back time, whatever. So when that actually happens, there's an emotional payoff because you knew this is a buildup. This has been expected. To have gone through this whole season, established all of this stuff, given like the couple in the murder house their reveal, to have given Jessica Lange's character her piece through whatever, to just have that all done because this chick has suddenly developed the power to go back in time is unearned, and to me is, takes away from what you could have gotten.
I don't see, for me,
it's poor writing.
But for me,
it's terrible writing.
It actually wasn't because I felt like it actually made the connection through the larger series and the each season.
Yeah, but that's like a huge power to just be like.
But that connection, it's not about you're focusing on that one thing. I'm talking about the connection. You gotta
focus on that one thing because
but the connection between between 7 seasons.
But that one thing literally became the most important thing now in all of those episodes.
No, it really didn't.
Undid so much of what happened because it essentially undid everything from the moment Mallory was introduced to
But
Cordelia.
Did it though? Because remember, there was a little boy that popped up. Because
that just means that doesn't. No, it undid it in that timeline.
It undid it in that timeline. Yes.
So,
but what that means is that means that I think the message that I got from it that there was a constant battle between good and evil, and evil's always lurking. It's always going to find a way to try to rear its head and do things.
Well,
so
of course,
regardless of what you do, it's going to try to find a way. Will it be successful? I don't know. But will there be people that will try to combat it? Yes. So for me, I got the thing that it's an ongoing battle. It's always going to be a struggle. That's what I took from it.
Mm-hmm. Also, to me, it wasn't a horror story.
Well, that's the name of the damn show.
I get that. So you should write horror stories.
Well, I'm so sorry. What is not a horror story about having the Prince of Darkness or the son of the apocalypse? What is not a horror story about that?
Going back in time.
But what is not a horror story? What's the scary piece that's not in there?
You called it apocalypse when you didn't even really spend that much time on.
So horror means you can undo it. It means you can undo it. Is that what that means? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand.
I'm sorry. Apparently, they didn't teach you all that at Duquesne. I just need you. For me.
Famu you, boo. Famu you. Famu you.
So, to me, it wasn't terrible. It was entertaining. I'm sure I'll watch it. I watch a lot of shit that I don't necessarily think is the most entertaining thing ever. I feel like there could have been so much more done even within the confines of what was available. So it even worked to me. I did like the fact that, okay, so yeah, you defeated this, but then now, you know, the milquetoast couple from the very beginning of the show, now their baby is the Antichrist. So you're right that, you know, evil.
Believe it or not, that baby
works.
just looked oh so white. I was like, okay, what the hell's going on?
Right.
But anyway.
But she was only half black as it was, so.
Okay, whatever.
But yeah. But the most unrealistic thing was that two people 2 years out of college could afford a house that fabulous in the suburbs of Los Angeles. But okay, sure. You know, I am just a negative Nancy, and I'm fine with that. It wasn't terrible. I'm just glad that he and Brad did better writing on Pose than they did on.
Now, let me tell you about how I feel about Pose. I love the show, and I love what it represents as far as the time period is concerned, and for me showing
carefully
that there is another world that has a set of values and good people and stories. But really? The writing on Pose? Okay. I mean, it's all right.
Wait a minute. What was wrong with the writing on Pose?
It's all right. I mean, so can we get into the dialogue? And are we talking about the dialogue that goes on between them, or is it just the bad acting that I'm getting stuck on? So, I mean, I just want to make sure I'm clear on what it is that. So, listen, we can agree to disagree on both of these because I like what Pose
will not do.
talks about and the subject matter and the set of people.
The only one that was a terrible actress was
the only one.
MJ Rodriguez was a good actress. India was a good actress. Only one that was a terrible actress was
I know her as Tyra. Dominique, I think, is her name.
Yeah. And even she got better, but I mean, her acting may have been terrible, but what she had to say and what she went through seemed very realistic.
That part, I 210% agree with. The trials and tribulations, that part was brought about, and people get to see that because some of those things I've lived with some people. So that part I have an affinity for, and I appreciate bringing that to the screen. That's it. That's it. But I will be watching Pose. Let me be clear. Listen, I will be watching because I'm going to go ahead and support the gays.
Right.
The blacks. The kinky, and the rest of them that are human. I'm going to support it.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Well, bully for you.
That's what
all
I'm
right.
gonna do.
So, again, I just think that there could have been a lot better writing and a lot better plotting on American Horror Story, which doesn't mean it was terrible. I mean, I say garbage. I'm being,
listen. I am not. I am not emotionally wed to it, and I absolutely think it's the best thing on the planet. No, not at all. No. However, I liked it. I thought it was pretty well put together.
I just feel again, there were opportunities that were missed to me.
Well, I think some things, and again, this is probably just going to be apples versus oranges, or Visa versus MasterCard, or Nike versus Adidas, whatever your preference is. They're
Nike, MasterCard.
Some of these opportunities are some things that
it's like there's not a choice.
Some of these things are opportunities. Some of these opportunities don't necessarily really need to be explored to get to the point. But again, yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree on that one. Like, we're just gonna stay, on the opposite side. So,
you know what? Actually, this whole thing is one of the reasons why I stopped. Like, I didn't really watch most of the last season of Scandal because it just became more and more ridiculous.
So,
like, the shit that happened, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
So, let me tell you when I actually stopped watching Scandal on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. After she got kidnapped and was being held hostage in that damn thing, literally, my viewership went down. I was like,
why?
Because I thought I was so annoyed with that whole thing.
You didn't think it was realistic?
What annoyed me, I can't remember when we got to the end and we realized that she was being held hostage in this warehouse. I can't remember whether I got more annoyed by who she was being held by or how she got out. Or who I think it was a combination. I can't remember, but I was like, this is too much. And it was drawn out for so long.
Yeah.
They
did. Yeah,
why?
They really did. Where it lost me was
because the story kind of went away from what she does.
The election. That lost me because I was just like,
yeah, I think
like,
all
right. So
Fitz,
has been president for 2 terms. Now they're going to have this election that comes down to this Latino guy versus Melly, and then the Latino guy wins, gets killed. So gets killed when he's giving his victory speech. So he got. It was like the equivalent of that would have been Barack Obama getting shot in the face at Hyde Park that day on November the whatever it was, 2008, and someone from the floor shooting him in the fucking face, and everybody's just like, oh, the president got shot, or the president-elect got shot, and then they're having this negotiation back and forth about, well, can you contest it now? And it just seems so far. And this is a show where the president killed the fucking, a Supreme Court justice. So, at just some point it just became more and more ridiculous. And then, Melly becomes president somehow, and she know that Cyrus was responsible, and, Liv kills, the dead dude's wife because the president's wife and Cyrus were conspiring. It was just layers on top of layers, and I was just like, this is a lot. I was like, if this was really everything that was going on in this country, I'm like, this country would, this country's already fucked, but this country would really be fucked if.
But suppose it actually is going on, and we just don't. I believe that there's some
shit,
some
but
truth to some of these layers.
If the sitting president, if the vice president actively tried to have the president murdered.
Come on, Pence, do your job.
Right, and it just seemed like people, were, well, what if this happened? And then, okay, that happens, but then you don't think about all of the effects. And then I'm like, okay, well, Huck is, then got all shot up, but yet now he's made it through, and he can't figure out how to get back. And
speaking of Huck, do you remember that scene with him and Quinn?
Where he pulled her teeth out?
No, when they were making love on the truck, he spit on her.
Yeah, that was hot.
I was like, come on, Huck.
Yes. So another thing that doesn't make sense. So Remember in the movie, it was, and this we'll move on. We got a few minutes, but we'll move on. 240-719-2560. It was one of the Die Hard movies. And in this movie, the terrorist had hijacked a plane and wouldn't allow it to land. So they were just circling over D.C. And he said, well, we can't land at National Airport. I was like, but you could go to BWI or Dulles. Or Andrews Air Force Base. I mean, if it's long enough for a fucking 747, which is Air Force One to land on, then your plane can land on it. So there's like 6 airfields. But again, that's too much. And to me, that's research that makes the story seem more realistic. But anyway, all right, so enough of that. Cindy HydeSmith, Mississippi. What is it? Mississippi goddamn.
So, yeah, and somebody posted that, or like that.
Yeah.
But Mississippi
That's like
Goddamn
is that the name of a song?
It is a song.
Goddamn?
It's by Nina Simone, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But Cindy HydeSmith. So, listen. There's an article that, well, first of all, she's been in the news because you may have heard her. She was the person running for re-election in Mississippi who stated that she would be in the front row at a hanging. And let me just be more clear with this. There's from Politico.com, they had this story where it says that she won Mississippi's state runoff because she was actually running for the state with her and Mike Espy, who, by the way, he's not bad looking at all. I thought he was a nice looking guy. But anyway, but again, she never apologized for joking that she'd be in the front row to watch a local rancher get publicly hanged. But she insisted that her words had been twisted for political gain. Now, she initially declined to apologize and largely avoided discussing the remark before offering an apology to anyone offended. But during the only debate between the candidates 1 week prior to the election day. Now, Espy, who's African American, said he called HydeSmith's public hanging comment a black eye for the state. But the thing that got me is she's been reelected. She's been reelected. There has not been
elected or reelected.
I'm sorry. She has been. Well, it was a runoff.
Right. So initially, the votes were too close to call on election day.
So I'm sorry. It's a runoff. Yes. So I guess So it wasn't a re-election. So she won. But the thing that got me is they haven't had a Democrat in the Senate since 1982, and you are in a state that has a history of lynching, and you find it appropriate to make a joke about being in the front row at a lynching?
Of course he does.
And you, as the collective residents of the state, have decided to reelect her, and you want her to sit there and spout your values?
Of course they do.
So what that says to me is that your values don't value anything other than that white woman and that state.
Of course they do. I mean, everybody is acting all shocked. 1, that she said this. 2, that she don't give a damn what people think. And 3, that she got elected. Now, if that had happened in New York State or California or even in Virginia maybe, but in D.C.
Virginia too,
or Maryland, then you might be like, wow, someone was just bold enough to say that. But this is Mississippi. I mean, people are just. I mean, you can be offended by it, but you should not be surprised by it. And I think one of the things that we, the collective, we on this side, is to stop being surprised and stop expecting people to be other than. Oprah says it all the time. When people
your authentic self and whoever you are,
they have shown you for centuries, particularly in Mississippi, who they are. So do not be surprised.
But for me, in a state like Mississippi, where there is a larger percentage of people of color in that state,
not than white people.
In Mississippi,
the state is not majority black or majority people of color.
I thought that actually has changed with people of color, not specifically African Americans, but people of color.
I was not aware of that. Well, clearly enough of them didn't vote or do whatever it was they needed to do.
Then that was the issue, because again, it was like 54 to like 49.
That can't be 54 to 49.
I'm sorry,
more than 100.
No, 54 to like 46, I think it was.
Okay, so that is, but 49 means there could have only been 51 on the other side, honey.
All right.
Math.
So you know what? Listen, this is what purple does. You're trying it today, and I'm trying.
But trying it, and just 1 + 1 is always 2, regardless of whether you're wearing purple or a half-dead Marilyn Monroe.
I'm gonna go into this next story that I pulled up off of here.
I think we're in agreement, but the bottom line is, for me, is that we can't continue to be surprised when people do, particularly non-black people, non-people of color, continue to do the same thing that they have done. So for me, I feel like we're wasting our energy expecting people, because people aren't going to suddenly wake up one day and be like, they weren't going to hear this, Karen, who works at Walmart, who was probably not being well served by Republican policies, is not going to wake up one day in Mississippi and be like, I'm going to vote for the Negro.
But she is going to wake up when this particular young lady, Miss Cindy HydeSmith, decides to talk about what her agenda is and the things that she's going to do, and it does not fit your Republican lifestyle.
But that is not going to be blamed on her directly. It's going to be blamed on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the liberal agenda. So we just gotta listen. What we need to do is stop giving a fuck about what other people think about us and build our coalition. That's how these people got successful. When liberals talk, here's what they do. They say la la as they're going. Here's the gun store. Here's the gun store. Here's whatever. La 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 la. They're not paying attention to anything that we have to say. So don't pay attention to it, because they're not going to hear what they're saying. So what we need to do is build our power base. That's my opinion.
What I also think we need to do, what's important, is take your ass out to the polls and vote, please, God, and
yes,
and in this country where the majority of people, where the demographics are changing over the years, they are changing, they have changed, and people of color are now the majority, or soon to be the majority.
Soon to be.
I think it's by 2020.
Not 2020. By like 2040 or 2050, this country will not be majority European.
But it is changing. So listen. Understand what your power is. Understand what your worth is. Understand what your vote means. Understand that and exercise that, please.
And that's why they're so upset about people coming to this country, because they realize that these people coming to this country will pick oranges and do whatever and build themselves up, and in 2 generations you won't know that these people were the sons and daughters of orange pickers, because they will work hard. They will do all of the funky shit that Americans won't do.
Ted Cruz.
What?
I'm sorry. Ted Cruz.
Checkers.
Ted Cruz.
Tick what?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Well, right.
I just said 9 different times.
I just thought you had a frog in your throat, honey. I couldn't hear.
It's that purple.
Listen, I don't listen to poor people. I can't hear you. What? Honey, what?
Oh!
Sorry, global warming.
So, your president, number 45.
Your president, yes. Mm-hmm.
There was an article. There was an article that was in the Daily Signal online, and he's talking about how he's now doubled down against and disagrees that there are dire predictions that were made about global warming. Mm-hmm. This is a U.S. government report that came out, and it basically says that we are in a dire situation, basically, and we need to do something. We need to act sooner than later, because within the next, I want to say it said by the end of the century.
Yes, by 2100.
And by the end of the century, or in the next century, they were saying that not only would it have a degree change of like maybe 4 to 5 degrees change, there's going to have some significant impacts on the polar ice caps, just climate all the way around all the way around. Mm-hmm. So 45 decides that he doesn't believe, and he says, and I quote, "As to whether or not it's man-made and whether or not the effects that you're talking about are there, I don't see it." Then he said why he was skeptical. Okay, I'm sorry. That's what Trump said. The problem is this actually came out from the National Climate Assessment Organization, which is a part of the federal government. You are the president of the United States, and you have no idea what's going on with the organization that you are.
That he doesn't know that there's an NCA is not the issue. It's the fact. The previous
I'm bringing that up just to add to it. But again, it is the previous statement. You talk about the facts, and you talk about science, and you talk about the fact that you always equate these things to a liberal agenda, and that they all are out to get something, or they're all out to do something specifically for their liberal agenda. And it's like, but really, global warming? Like, I don't really understand how the liberals are gonna put. I don't get that. Like, did you make that equation? Like, I don't get that.
So here's what happens when you are anti-science and anti. So what he said before is that one of the problems that a lot of people like myself,
thank you,
we have very high levels of intelligence, but we're not necessarily such believers. And I'm like, it's the arrogance to think that you know more than someone who went to school for this. Now, I will say that sometimes people who are smart are sometimes arrogant about their smarts. And, we all have that one cousin, you might have graduated from and got your bachelor's degree, but they got their doctorate. And, they can never stop letting you forget that, well, I have my doctorate. You're like, okay, bitch, but.
Yeah, good for you.
Okay. So, and when you already have low self-worth or whatever, and it don't help if that person is driving a Benz and, you got or whatever. So, I get all of that, but, just to instantly deny the facts, because, to not even think about it critically, and yet everything in your life, all of the advances you have are because of science. So, it's like you don't believe in science, but you want all of your medicines. Why the fuck do you think medicines happen? Well, I know they prayed for them. What's so I can't say this on the air.
Write it down or something.
No, I can. So one of our brothers was saying that he was going through some tough financial times on Facebook and asked people if they could lend him a couple of dollars. And someone who was not a mutual friend, but one of his friends, said, "I'm going to pray for you." And I'm like, he said he needed money, though. So what? He said he needed the money to make it until Friday. What your prayer? I'm just like, your prayers aren't help. If I need $25 right now to keep the lights on, and you'll be like, okay, so why don't we pray on this? No, what I need is $25. I need that money. Money, honey. Thoughts and prayers don't mean shit. Now, I will say that, when my father died, when people said, I'm praying for you, that's great. And I did honestly, even though I'm not a believer, I did feel grateful and thankful.
And the sincerity behind it.
And the sincerity behind that. But when people are in need, if you don't have the money to loan, just don't say nothing. Here's my thing. If I make a public plea and I say I need $100, if you don't have $100 to lend, just don't say nothing. Because to me, it's insulting to me to say I'm going to pray for you, because unless your prayers are going to actually manifest in $100 in my pocket, is useless.
We are all entitled to our opinions, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
So I'm gonna pray on that. So we got 7 minutes.
These last two stories are kind of long, because one of them is about Ivanka Trump and her email usage.
You know, that burns me the fuck
Because
up.
it is there's such hypocrisy between that and also, Hillary Clinton's emails, and her thing is, well, it's always been for work, and then there's an overlap sometimes between scheduling my stuff for work and then scheduling some stuff for here, and it's like,
honey,
wait a minute. You came in after Hillary Clinton,
so
you
should
already
know
what the fuck this is going to give, and you're trying to validate it now by saying that it's all on the presidential email server. I mean, the White House email server. So they've already seen my.
Your Gmail, honey.
You
were using Ivanka.Trump@gmail.com,
and your ass got your father, 45, jumps in. Well, it's all been reviewed, and it's on the White House on the White House server, and it's all there. And so she was, when she first started, it was a couple of mishaps or whatever.
And both of these people act like,
girl. Why is it different for everybody else?
Why can't you then have any empathy for whatever the fuck your actual job is, and you couldn't do the separation when Hillary Clinton was the fucking Secretary of State, literally traveling hundreds of thousands of miles a year on behalf of this country, and maybe one time a couple of times she put an email where it wasn't supposed to be.
Well, so let me be clear. There were probably about
33,000. So I'm not suggesting.
And listen, 33,000 emails.
I mean, it was a lot.
Are a lot of emails to get rid of. However,
no one ever actually said she got rid of them, though. That was the accusation.
She didn't. Her staff person was clearing out her mailbox.
Right, and so so
they were pulled off of the server.
Right, just like if I had an assistant, like, okay, this didn't mean anything.
Right,
and 99% of them didn't mean anything, because you know how people. You know what I hate? If I ask you to do something, or if you ask me to do something, and I do it and send it back to you by email, you don't need to send me an email that says thank you. So a lot of the email were probably just that. It was like, thank you, Mrs. Clinton.
Listen,
for doing this. Probably most of it was bullshit.
And the FBI investigated and found that there was nothing that was deleted that had anything of any consequence. So let me be clear with that. Right. I just found that funny. It was 33,000 emails. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's a lot. That was a lot of fucking emails. But I was like, okay.
Girl, I get upset if my email box if I get more than 100 emails in my box. I was like, oh, listen, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything else this afternoon but clean out my email box.
Oh.
If I have more than 100 emails in my box, like I'm at 95 right now, so I feel like early next week, I'm going to have a day where I don't do anything but go through all these emails and figure out where they go.
Tomorrow and Friday, my email box, for especially for my participants that I'm at see next week, I got to clear out their stuff, and I'm at like 100 now, so I got to clear that out.
So last thing, just real quickly. So RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars returns on December the 14th. And on the 7th, there's like a one-off Christmas special that they're doing.
I did hear about that. I didn't know what
essentially, they're doing like a Christmas theme challenge. I guess it's like an hour or two or whatever. But then the All-Stars return. I'm still bitter.
Why? So I just have a question, Ru. And listen, I it's your show. You do whatever you want. Why are you I like the people that you are bringing back, but why? You're giving them a second and third chance at this. I'm not quite understanding. And again, it was funny with Shangela, but now it's like,
Who else are they bringing back that's been back before?
Manila, Latrice.
Latrice yeah, she was on the second All
Yes,
Stars.
she was.
Yeah.
And Manila.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
So it's
and listen, you didn't win the regular season. You didn't win All Stars. Just go ahead and live.
And now you're bringing them back again for All Stars 2. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. But there are other girls. I'm sorry, All Stars 4. Excuse me. And there are other girls that could have gone on this show on All Stars. But hey.
I guess.
And then also
Pheromone.
Pheromone.
Yeah, some of these people don't deserve a second chance because I was like, I can't even think of anything that is. I'm sure Pheromone is a lovely woman. Yeah, but I can't think of anything like Latrice. Yes. Manila. Yes. Even what's your girl with the mask? I'd rather not. Valentina. She's got a huge fan base. Maybe she's grown a little bit. It did work for Asha because I hated Asha. And Asha came in.
It worked for Asha.
I was watching that clip when she got up on that bus. Is she about to jump?
Listen,
still to
shout
this day,
out to listen.
I just rewound that 10 seconds.
That dip
over
off
and over
that
again,
step was everything.
Because she didn't just step off; she jumped up, and so she was already like 5 or 6 feet off of the ground, and then she jumped up
like 3 feet off the
then,
ground. It's like 3 feet off the ground.
It was not 3 feet off of the ground.
3 feet. 3 feet.
It was at least this tall. Anyway,
it looked good, and she did.
She
that.
did
So I ain't even gonna say because she did jump up off of that thing. She did.
Right.
It looked good. So listen, Aja, I'm right there with you. Girl,
so
my niece can't take that no more. I can't do. Fuck that shit.
I could do it once.
No, I'm not doing it no more. No.
I could have done it. I'm saying if I do it once, I would get down and be like, paramedic.
Be laying there like Dominion.
I would be like Scarlett takes a tumble. I'd be like,
Somebody check my bank account to make sure that this money's in here.
Yeah, because we'll be laid up for several months. I just signed up for my new benefits, and I got a hospitalization benefit now. I need my check for $30,000 for this hospitalization.
Oh, God.
All right, so kids, the BGK8 show streams live on when? Oh yeah, we got it.
So okay, let me do that.
Okay.
So anyway. Pause for the cause. This is that time of the year. It is actually that time of year is every single day of the year. So
every
day.
Clear.
But right now, what's going on? VoxWave and Urban Style Media are collaborating for the second annual toy drive. They have a drop off of all unwrapped toys to VoxWave Studio at 4711 Off Place, Suitland, Maryland, and the drop off deadline is going to be for until December 20th. So please, any toys that you have, please decide to drop them off at 4711 Off Place, Suitland, Maryland. And again, you have until December 20th to drop them off.
And we're located right behind the Red Lobster, across the street from the Kaiser.
Behind the Red Lobster with the Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Red Lobster.
So again, we're doing it for big kids in the DMV, and they definitely need your help. So please donate. Bring whatever you can.
I thought I saw another bin out there for a coat drive, too. So maybe not.
Okay. Bring the toys. Drop them off, but also if you have coats and you want to bring them, you can actually drop those off as well. But again, 4711 Off Place here in Suitland, and you have until December 20th, and you can drop those off.
Yeah. So the BGK8 show streams live on Wednesdays on www.voxwave.com, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. Eastern and 6:15 to 7:15 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are available on YouTube every Friday. Just search for Vox Power 373 and look for the BGK8 show with Dominion and Epic. Oh, also, brand new, hot off of the press. You can also catch the BGK8 show and all of the other shows on VoxWave.com on the VoxWave SoundCloud channel.
What's that SoundCloud?
SoundCloud.
What's that?
SoundCloud. So get that down. If you download the SoundCloud app, then you'll get notifications of all of the SoundCloud. And
I'm getting so excited I could just spit.
iTunes. We are on iTunes, bitch.
Ting.
So now you can download the podcast directly to your phone.
Boop.
Directly. Boop. So if they're on iTunes, that means even if it's on iTunes, I believe there's like even Android apps that you can use to get that. So there are a number of ways that you can get through SoundCloud, but also if it's on iTunes, there are, I believe, Android apps that can access.
I don't know.
If
but
it's in the public area.
Okay.
So anyway, and we also have the capacity for a studio audience. So
Come on in the audience, people.
bring your ass.
Come on and call in. Nobody called in tonight.
Yes.
What's going on with y'all?
Call me.
Right.
All right, so Epic. How can the viewers get in contact with you?
So you can get in touch with me. Oh, is that a phone call now at the end of the night? Oh, I was about to say, yay, we got a call.
That's my phone talking about where are you.
Anyway, so if you would, you can find me on Facebook. You can look for me as Epic Onyx. You can also find me on Instagram at I am Epic Onyx, and then also on Twitter, Epic Onyx1. And how can they reach you, Dominion?
At Dom Onyx on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Dom Onyx, and my website, www.domonix.com.
And there you have it. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, it was lovely.
It was very, very lovely. I actually will not be here next week.
We're gonna take off next week because you're not gonna be here.
I won't be here next week.
And we had said we were going to go on hiatus in December, but maybe we'll do it the second half of December through MAL so we can have a bit of a break. So we'll talk about that.
Well, we can do that. But anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in and
champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
And so on air. So who's bringing the liquor next time? Am I bringing liquor or you bringing liquor?
I don't appreciate your tone.
I'm just asking. I want to clarify.
Very pointed.
It's very purple.
I'll bring the liquor.
Okay. I'll bring you another straw for your glass. Then how about? Matter of fact, I'll bring you I can get you a new glass.
Okay. Lovely. And we can get matching glasses.
I will do that.
All right.
So.
All right, kids. You have a good week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
No ticket. Just thank the Lord. Just thank the Lord. You gotta get ready. You gotta get ready. People get ready. There's a train to Jordan. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and board them. There's hope for all among the lost. You gotta get ready. You gotta get ready.